maybe correct. And we'll see if it starts to turn around here in game number 3. But Admirable Crowan, take it away.
Game 3 of day number 2. We have 3 days in total, and we are looking to cut off half of the field here today. And so this will be our halfway point where our players going to be shaping up. And Crowan, so far, I do agree a lot with how Bryce and Frodan have talked about this. You know, the players having a lot of self-criticism, a lot of debate about how they're playing. But so far, it does look like a lot of these early game lines are starting to clean up a bit.
It really does. I mean, players get each day of a tournament to VOD review, find their mistakes, and improve upon them. And I agree, there very much is the room for improvement that they are figuring out as the tournament goes on. So let's see if we can keep it moving on into this game. There is talking about, you know, what Bryce said earlier on in the day, how some of that data and meta compositions were kind of fake. Deja still widely contested today. Actually, in game 1, there's 4 Dejas, and 3 of them went 8th, 7th, 6th, just holding hands. It's still so widely contested. That's kind of insane. You would think some players would make the adaptation, but not quite.
There's 2 ways to really look at that too, and it's going to be, number one, this unit's so strong that everyone's chasing for it, and thus it's harder to find.
Yeah.
That's why the numbers have been bad. The other way to look at it would be like, well, maybe it's just not that strong, and that's why you all are doing it, and it's a foolish take. I think it's much more on the line of it's a very strong unit. It's going to come up to what the Mirage buff is. In this case, we're seeing it's Warlord's Honor, a very strong one. And is your situation lining up for it? I think if you're forcing the chase onto this Deja, that's where it could really go bad. But there's so many different front lines that can hold this for a while.
Yeah, Sag is a player who played Deja in the last game and ended up getting a first with it, so obviously there is still room, but maybe it doesn't support, you know, 4 players, something that got to take into account. There's a lot of players kind of just jamming into these contested lines, and their performances are suffering from it, so maybe it's a bit of nerves, maybe it's just, oh, I have to lean comfort, but have to be open to a lot of different situations, and these are some augments that, yeah, you're going to be going to some niche lines, Protector of the Cosmos, combat training.
I'm thinking that the reroll being like the definite take on this line here right now.
For sure.
It's just certainly like these are very fringe benefits that you're getting from these. It has to be like a spot that just absolutely makes sense from this. And I will say that this is definitely not a bad one.
No.
It's just it's certainly unexpected. This does feel like it's committing now to some heavier units on the front line.
Yeah, this was the one augment out of those 3 that was the most general, right? You can get value in a lot of different compositions with best friends, maybe less so in the AP tree, but a lot of players are, of course, leaning AD flex. Sag going to go that same direction, still getting great econ in the early game with the Astrals, and it's not like this is weak, right? Nidalee and Ezreal with these buffs can still output a lot of damage. Frontline's a little sus, but should be not too bad here in stage 2 for Sag.
It's a good point to make. You know, if you have enough damage, basically you have the best defense in the world. If you eliminate all your opponent's units, they can't deal any damage anymore.
Very true.
Yeah. I do want to point out the Deja perspective from Sag's, where Deja was listed in his Bryce with the interview as the first composition that it looks like he was favoring in this one. And we have seen that come up in these spots. And right now, the Ezreal not able to hold the line. Sag's going to be taking a loss in this first one. But every way that you look at this, it's going to be, I think, so much is panning out in this first augment. It feels like the further we've gotten into this tournament, the more it has mattered. That is a 2-star Kai'Sa to kick things off?
Oh my, with high tide nonetheless. Rain, how do you keep doing this? 3 Lagoon online, already stacking. There's a tier, there's a belt. There's
a Rakan.
There's a Rakan as well.
What the
Guardian.
heck?
Rain is being blessed.
This is just unnatural. Like
it is.
If you had to take a pick on what place Rain Plosion's going right now, what would you say?
Oh, I mean, from this spot, average. I'm going to go with
I don't want the average. I want the main one right now.
Just
despite that you haven't seen the rest of the lobby.
All right, no context. Raid is going to go first place again this game. I'm calling it right now.
I love the call for it. And honestly, it's just when I look at this, that's where my instinct is. Now, I will say that with a belt and with a cloak, you're not necessarily lined up well for your follow-up items on this one, but the start is just magnificent. Lagoon will shore up some of those items.
Oh, it definitely is. And if you're thinking about re-rolling like Rain did in the previous game, right, that belt can turn into a Warmogs for a Zac, something like a Dragon's Claw. They can still be very good frontline items. 1 tier is halfway to the blue buff, of course, and then you just need some good Kai'Sa items to round it out. Over to Soju. Ooh,
this is a nice spot.
2 Rengar on the bench with gold preparation, Admirable.
This is like some big big dark flight that you're going to be getting. We saw Sox in that first game have the Randuin's buff go into place, and it feels like the preparation is really doing something similar to this. You're just getting extra stats onto this team, and that's like what the whole team is building out more stats across the board.
Speaking of Sox, running into him in this matchup right now, also with preparation. Might be seeing some dark flight stick around this game because there was another player in this game, I don't remember who right now, but that did have double trouble, which is what Sox used to get that nice placement there with the dark flights.
Both of them preparing.
Yeah, both of them prepping. Soju taking the win on this round.
Looking pretty nice. You're already at 30 stacks with Lagoon. This has got to be terrifying.
Oh, and winning with the overtime? No, not quite.
Coming to scout this board and seeing this, you're like, what?
Yeah. If Rain was able to full streak through stage 2, it would be looking a lot better. Not quite, though, as we get a chance to look at all of the augments. Kyvix, Portable Forge.
So Sully, the only player with really like the economy takeaway from this. I guess Rayplosion is certainly can play to that way.
Economy.
Lagoon is like economy, but we've been hit with the spatula blessings again, but it seems to be a little bit less demand here on this 2-4 carousel right now. The 3 spatula is the only thing left to grab for Kyvix and Soju.
2 players level 5, the 2 out of the 3 that are 100 HP in the lobby as well. Thinking about the tempo, how do you want to push your advantage? I think it's still very, very important to say that this is a meta that is so focused around HP preservation, so that's going to be influencing a lot of the decisions in the early game. We talk about how you shore up your stage 2, like Bryce had said at the start of the day. That is one of the ways how to.
Yeah, a lot of your stage 2 is shaping up your stage 3 as well. It really has a big influence of what you're going to be capable of, just really where that sits. You know, I'm looking at Sag and I'm looking at Sox sitting at the bottom 2 spots right now. I feel like this is going to press your time if this kind of style continues.
Yeah, ooh, Rayplosion going for a Zeke slam, and it is onto the Kaisa, so maybe not leaning for that full Kaisa reroll, just as a spot to kind of bridge the gap here.
The augment, I think, may be influencing this a lot as well.
Yeah. It very well could be. I think you can transition this. I mean, if you talk about Zeke's, I think you definitely think about the Seraphine Graves composition. Yeah. I think High Tide is great for that as well. Going to be making sure the Seraphine gets a lot of casts, which is important in that composition for sure.
Ooh, doesn't take the
wow,
loss.
1 HP on the Kaisa. Crazy.
And for Kyvix, that feels like a pretty big disruption as well.
That's terrible for Kyvix right there. Really wanted to win that round, and it was so close. Got to think about, is there any positioning nuance that could have made the difference there? Hey, we saw a spicy Gnar yesterday, and we're seeing one again here today.
2-star Gnar with a Runons and a Thrill of the Hunt this early. The damage that gets fleshed out in stage number 2, it is not these heavy-hitting spikes that take place. When you give this Gnar enough time, it's basically just gonna win the fight from here.
Yeah. Looking at Robin's last couple of games, they've both been Deja and both ended up in 4th place, kind of the king of consistency here. Maybe going for a different line this time around. Runan's not really an item that goes with that line, but perfect for a Soifin.
I'm just loving the way that Gnar jumps and just turns into a monster afterwards. Like, I don't feel like this unit is even close to being able to die right now.
No, it's full HP. It's going to remain full HP as soon as it gets any KO. It gets the Thrill proc there, and yes, it's just a matter of time before each smack is delivering lethal damage. There we have it.
Rayplosion at 57 stacks in the Lagoon.
That's so high for stage 2.
Regional Robin coming in as well. The high consistency that he has continued to demonstrate time after time. And when you look at Casper Wu's spot and you see a Siphon float through in stage number 2, that's got to be a tough feeling.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, you gotta look at the spot, right? It's just going to be that double trouble angle, and there's not quite the pair of Rengars quite yet, but that will come through in stage 3.
Hey, I'll take my
3-2
Rengar
maybe.
right
Yeah, 1 Rengar right now is still fine. We get the Titans on it, or excuse me, on just the Dark Flight unit sacrifice to get a little bit of that value right now. Still a decent spot to be in.
I think the item's looking pretty well for this as well. You know, you have a sword and you have a bow. You got another sword.
Ooh, okay. You can think about slimming a Deathblade like Sox did.
2 more?
Wow.
Okay, one of them's gold. Okay.
Yeah, gold Reforger. But I think the Deathblade is going to be such a good find in this spot specifically because you want to tier that Rengar into tier 3. It'll give you that free 2-star copy. And just, of course, the Deathblade scaling, how it works, you're going to be doing more damage as Deathblade does more damage as you tier that up.
Just going for the level up right away, too. Says, you know what? I think the win streak's here. Give it to me.
Level 6 on 3-1, aggressive style leveling. Is the Deathblade going to be the slam, though?
I'm not sure that it is. I think that like Zeke's is certainly something that's in your mind. The idea of Infinity Edge or Edge of Night, that's certainly on your mind.
Yeah, it's not
right now,
slam.
you could put the items on Jax, for instance, because this is not staying here. You could put this item on Jax, you know, just coast with that little bit of extra damage you're going to be getting from it. Figure it out a little bit later. I like these small little technical plays that can end up making a difference. They usually don't, but when they do, it's a big deal.
It leaves you open. This composition does like using the Dark Flight Essence, but if you're not able to ever get one, like a, an emblem or uncraftable item, like the Randuin's earlier from Sox, then Zeke's is still a really, really good item too. Leaving that option open, I agree.
All right, Casper taking a loss here despite the level. Sully on the level as well. So here we go, the 3-2 augment. This is a major point of the game. It's going to be silver, so a bit slower.
Bruiser, Battle Mage, Tiny Titans. Tiny Titans is going to be worth consideration here, and it's pretty much a snap pick from Casper.
I feel like when you're re-rolling, this augment makes so much more sense as well.
Oh, there's the pair of Rengars. Board strength just got a lot bigger, and we see some. Yeah, oh, okay. This is a spicy roll down on the bottom right for Sox. Get a chance to take a peek at that with the preparation at work.
That is a lot that's going on that one. Every time I see a bench this big, I just feel so overwhelmed.
Seraphine 2 pick up there.
Ooh.
Tag 2 as well? Okay, Sox rolling deep at 3-2.
Looking pretty good. A lot of items on the bench as well. A lot to work through in that spot. But here we go now. Pair of Rengars, pair of Rels. You found an Aphelios. Every unit on your board is getting a Titans right now.
Yeah. Robin still 100 HP streaking, and it's off the back of that Gnar. Now the Gnar has a Deathblade as well, and the Knife's Edge, so getting even more AD.
Just furious is this Gnar.
Such a good transition
this
point.
Is a big hit. The Casper's... Oh, maybe not. He's tripped through a lot of the damage here thanks to these Rengars now, just jumping around and shredding armor.
Yeah, Rengar's going to be able to deal with most units very effectively, but again, not that Gnar.
Yeah, I mean, this Gnar's going to go untouched for a bit, I think.
Yep. Full HP.
Stage 4, that's what I'm looking for this Gnar to start getting handled.
Yeah, stage 4 though. At that point, Robin will be leveling up to 8 probably, rolling for the Soifin angle, has great augments for it, great items for it. This is just so well played, I think, here by Robin. And it comes into how well you play your early game opener if you high roll. A lot of players will, misplay it because they'll be forcing themselves to roll a bit too early, not assessing the rest of the lobby's board strength accurately. But Robin is a player with the discipline to accurately take all of that and be able to just play optimally.
It certainly feels like this sidebar has been a little bit at rest as well. I haven't seen a ton of 2-star stuff popping up on this side, so feels like, again, a bit more tame of a lobby right now, and that some of these spots are going to be kicking in a bit harder later on. Sox getting the Lagoon in play, a lot of 2-stars from Sox's side. We did see that come into play, and with the preparation stacks that are in place right now, I feel like Sox is maybe the player that contests this with a reasonable degree. And
Sox being solo HP, I feel like this is the story of his games all yesterday, but still... I think played it well enough, obviously, to get to day 2. Maybe just a bit of low rolls, and they're continuing. Sox, however...
Thrill diff.
Thrill diff. Gnar.
It's looking like a thrill diff. It's cutting a little bit close,
there
though.
We go. Gets the healing. Yeah, just like you said, admirable. Thrill diff. Gnar takes it again for Robin. 8-win streak.
Sox just feels like every single game he's been on these spots where it's just not working out in his favor. He's down to 46 in this spot. Sully coming in with the first aid kit there as well. That definitely spells out a lot of where your head is going to be at.
Yeah. Shielding
and healing, always a big thing. Kybix in the same spot as well, and Casperu, of course, on the reroll composition next to double up into the Tiny Titans here. Everyone's looking like they have something formidable. Sox having a future sight, maybe not quite as much.
Going to be a bit more formidable after this carousel
too.
Because, like, I was about to say, more spatulas. Some people are going to have a Tank Church's crown, surely, after that.
Sully's board here, looking pretty strong, going up to 7 now.
Yeah, pretty rich.
How distant are you willing to go, if at all?
This is 5 Astral being played. I don't think Sully's in a reroll direction for anything like a Lux reroll or anything. Maybe Varus 3 can start to consider, but already going this deep and leveling up makes me think it's just a tempo play.
I think so as well. You have 15 Astral Stars. I'm sorry, 10 Astral Stars in play.
Yeah.
Going up against Robin. I feel like that Robin maybe is not a composition you're wanting to face right now.
No, I don't think Nelly will provide as much damage as that Nara is going to, especially with the good front line that Robin has as well with that level 7 level up.
Yeah, this thing is just not getting taken down until people are having to strengthen their board.
No. Oh, maybe if Nara doesn't get the last hit, things are
true
kind of
story.
chaotic. Oh, there we go. Plus 700. Thrill diff yet again. Doesn't get that one, though, but gets the next one.
Varus is certainly making a bit of a difference.
It is a little close.
But I don't, it's just not enough. It's so close, but the thrill diff is a real diff.
Yeah.
Sully taking a hit.
What a dogman.
Down to 46. Sox picks up a win, so they're tied at the bottom. Rainplosion taking some hits here as well. And we are seeing a canyon develop between the top and the bottom spots. Soju putting together a Tactician's Crown. That is already a major benefit.
Tactician's Crown is so good. Then back-to-back carousels. You might be a little sad on stage 2 if you get a spat. It's like, oh, okay, I'm probably not going to be able to make anything happen. But if I get lucky, there's another spat, or I get an Earth Scrap bag later on the line. Soju indeed got lucky and cashed that in.
Robin's still the only player on the streak. Casper still looking pretty good. 114 Lagoon stacks on 3-6.
Oh, going for a Seraphine Graves angle here. Yep, the Zeke Slam. There's a Zac 2 front line with the Protector's Vow. Rain still does have a bit lower HP than you would want when pivoting into the Seraphine Graves line. Isn't level 7 quite yet. Not sure exactly how much gold she has, but we can see it's at least 50. This is still a kind of concerning spot. I wouldn't be super confident for Rain right now.
I don't want to say super confident because the HP total is a little bit low, but I will contest the pivoting into the Graves Lagoon spot, considering that you kicked things off with such a strong Lagoon aspect.
Yeah.
The Cybernetic Shell feels like it's coming in quite hot here as well. You're going to have that natural Mystic that's taking place and giving your team that MR, so having that extra armor feels like it could be a big stabilizing point as well.
True. Deja. The shot for Sully. Again, a lot of Deja leans, but Sully not quite in that situation right now. Making a little small tech choice to make sure the Olaf gets surrounded by the Wolves, +4 AD. We were talking about niche little things that you can do. It started yesterday. Nice to see that players are still not forgetting their fundamentals.
Not the best items here for Sully, I'd say. Not bad to see a Sunfire game, I guess. That really
TG, Sunfire, not the
means
worst.
Bringing up back-to-back Deja shops, but you're not even close.
It feels a little bad. But, I mean, it's whatever.
Sully here, they are not moving an inch. They say, level 8, please. Casper Wu putting together a Tactician's Crown. That's 2 of those in the lobby now.
This is exciting. I think there's going to be some really strong capped endgame boards, and you can start getting multiple players with Tactician's Crowns, multiple players, kind of dominating the lobby as Soju and Robin are on streaks. And Robin has win streak all the way through stage 2 and 3, Admirable.
The world is his at the moment. Sag with now a Deja, but just the Gunblade. I feel like there is a lot left to go to get this Deja on point.
That there is, but like you mentioned a bit ago, Sag does lean towards the Deja. Very comfortable with this line. Played it phenomenally in last game to get a first.
Soju now on a win streak. It's been highlighted.
Yep. Sully. The Astrals are good for, Econ, of course, but at what point are you going to pivot out? It's going to be next round 4 to roll it down, I think so. This is a really big make or break point for Sully.
Indeed. I mean, halfway to level 8 already with 50 gold. It's
next round,
what other angle do you have to go?
Let's see it. Augment choice first, however, scope weapons, exiles, thrill of the hunt. Might want to be a Soif and lean with these items. It's going to be a... Oh, okay, the pick on the thrill. Makes a lot of sense. Level to 8, Siphon already found in the first reroll.
It's like the level 8 just popped up with the augment selection there.
Needs to go a bit faster here. Surely has 30 seconds because the augment round, you get more time, but still needs to get everything.
Feels like there's so many different ways this could go, but yeah, the Shioyu I think is really spelling this out. And let's see if Sully can put this one together. How do you want to shape this one up?
Get the Graves out of there, get the Twitch out of there, get the Siphon in. However, there's not that many items to go around for both of those dragons,
finds a Pantheon. Another Pantheon as well.
Oh, Shioyu
of everything!
even goes to sell the Siphon. Maybe this is more of a vertical Jade lean. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, Admirable. Maybe 7 or even 9 Jade is better in some situations than the Siphon comp.
Sometimes it is better to put it together, and that was really highlighted, I think, in the previous game where Bryce pointed out how powerful 9 Jade is and how it's like a stat check for your opponents. If they can't chew through the line, the sustainability is super high. And right now, with where Sully's at, it doesn't feel like they're going to get through on this particular one, but with Thrill of the Hunt and with the first aid kit, I do feel like the Jade thing is a real check. Now, granted, we saw Jade Heart in the previous lobby. Sully does not have that one, so it's a bit tougher to go that direction.
Yeah, Soju ended up with that Jade Heart. Had a solid finish as well.
There's a lot of Dejas around the lobby right now.
I feel like that's just a story of every game. Everyone's leaning so heavily in that some people are just going to get stuck on Deja 1.
Wow.
That's a 1 HP win. Zonia's diff there for Sag. Oh, so much gold as well. Can almost pre-level fully up to 8. Go in next round. That best friends augment that we talked about at the start of the game is really valuable for the Dejas. This is a great transition point for Sag. Still has very healthy HP, a lot of gold. I want to say surely will hit, but again, there's so many people contesting the Deja that he still might miss.
It's also just the beefy frontline that's been put together here. I feel like that having these 2-star Guardians with the items to defend is a big deal for this best friends lineup because it controls so much of how your positioning works. If you don't have strong frontline, your team is likely to get chewed apart. And against Casper, who has that Tactician's Crown in play right now, but it doesn't feel like too many differences have really been made. It's just you're 2-starring stuff right now. And Casper's out of gold at 7.
Oh, Neela too for Casper, actually, to supplement this Rengar. Maybe it doesn't have quite enough damage, and there it is, the Double Trouble Rengar, of course.
Double Trouble Neela as well.
There's a Neela one. Oh, the
Deja, though, just
not enough.
If nothing else, the Deja is just cutting so much of the damage out because of the Zonias. Oh, yeah, that's Shioyu. That's going to be that is potentially a major threat if that board can get pieced out a bit here. But Soju... it's tough to say, honestly.
It is.
It feels like everyone is right there being able to have their compositions be put into place, but feels like something's missing.
Take a look at all of the augments across the game now. Sox having that better together picked up. Robin gets cybernetic uplink.
Rainplosion going for a spatula here as well. Rainplosion sitting in the last place right now. That's not certainly what I would have expected given the start.
No, not at all. But again, going for that force, it seemed like to Seraphine Graves. Slammed the Zeeks, and that was pretty much all but committed, I think, from that point. Not working out for her very well right now.
It's going to be a big point.
The Sag roll down 50 gold to find a Deja 2. There is a pair, and there it is.
Boy.
Deja 2 Sag hit. That's massive when it comes to not only the power level of Sage, but denying the Dejas to the rest of the lobby. Rain with that spatula makes Tactician's Crown as well. Power levels are just going to keep spiking. If anyone misses on this round's roll down, they are in trouble. So many people just got that much stronger.
Going for the Mirage as well, like just stacking up entirely on it. Wants the Warlords. Picked up the Itis, took a look at what the item was. It was a Mogu's Mail, I believe.
Yeah.
But with 2 stars and 6 Mirage in play right now, your Warlords buff is massive. This Deja is carrying so much impact as this sweeps through the board. Look at that damage. It doesn't look like a ton, but we're talking there's a lot of extra HP on the other side, given that it's Dark Flight.
That there is. Eventually it's going to chew through surely, but it depends on how long this Braum can stand. It does fall, but most of the threats are already down. It is basically just a Swain 1 to have to cut through, and that will be no problem for the recently upgraded Deja 2 from Sag.
And I'm looking at the bow on the bench. It feels like that Rage Blade has got to be your sole consideration coming up to Treasure Dragon.
Certainly a good one. Wouldn't be too upset with the Giant Slayer, perhaps.
Pair of Itis from Kyvik's side.
Kyvik's.
Again, the Deja, one of the Dejas has been found right now. Kyvik's looking fairly comfortable, I'd say, from this spot, though. You have a ton of Guardians in play. You have some pretty decent damage. You have a first aid kit to supplement the guard. Is this another 6 Guardian from Kyvik's? This is...
Yeah, seems to be loving this line. Played it yesterday, I believe, with a Zeri reroll, but can lean into it, of course, with the Deja as well, especially when paired with the Guardian emblem, making Deja that much tanky, especially when going up against things like Dark Flights that have backline access with the Rengar. This is, I think, a smart little tech choice in the specific lobby from Kyvik's.
Eternal Winter with 6 Guardian feels like a very dangerous
that's
item,
so
considering
good.
that you also have the Mogu's Mail. So this unit is going to become so tanky that if you can't access the Deja in the backline, you might not access it.
Not at all, no. This side is, especially when it's going to be tiered up to tier 2, it's going to be live for so long. 6
Gosh,
Guardian buff is insane.
The Jade is just holding up so much here. Like, the Deja's just not pouring enough damage out.
Not yet. Still Deja 1.
Overtime.
Overtime, maybe this next
Making that
cast
Deja look
is
a
gonna
lot
do
better
it.
in this case.
Sweeps through a lot of it, but the Jax, the stun actually comes through. It's just a 1v1 right now. Can the Jace get it done? One more slam does it. Kyvix takes a loss, but that's not the worst loss in the world for Kyvix because it is the Treasure Dragon now. Kyvix was saving a lot of gold.
My
Hoping
goodness.
to find another good Radiant item as well, Admirable.
Yeah, where do you put this? Like, where's your value headed right now?
And maybe a wide utility item. Oh, the Chalice consideration not quite. Ginsu's Reckoning and a Remover, so can fit that onto...
No, says no.
Doesn't want it.
Wow.
Rolling pretty deep here. At some point, you got to say, hey, this is good enough. All right.
The Archangels with an item finder certainly feels like a big one here.
That's probably the best
Ooh.
thing that Kyvix could have found. The amount of time that 6 Guardian will bring allows that Radiant Archangels to stack up so much, and it's going to be a Deja 2 found as well for Kyvix. This is huge. Doesn't even need to use the Remover. It's just okay
Says, you know
with
what?
whatever item pops off.
As long as I get the Archangels here, that's going to be good enough for me.
I wonder what the consideration... Yeah, okay. Just
Wait!
Okay, no. That's actually correct, because if you RNG the correct item off, which is the Guardian, you don't need to use the Remover, but you're just kind of hedging bets a little bit right there.
Genius
But
play.
Lost says, okay, now I have to use the Remover. Oh well, nothing lost.
Well, the time check here, perhaps something around with the scouting does get the Zephyr landed onto the Itis here, but this board is just looking cracked right now. I do not see someone beating this like very easily. You're going to need a strong board to get through this one. That sweep, wow, the amount of damage on that one. It's not even a good angle, and it feels like it's powerful.
150 extra bonus AP at this point. It just keeps ticking and ticking further up, especially with the Itis 2 upgrade. Oh, get a little cutscene in the bot, right?
Yeah, that could be really bad news, I'm feeling like.
For Rainplosion and Sox both go out. Sox in 8th, though Rainplosion gets the 7th. Triple Siphon Shop. Don't quite need it, but
Pivot.
wow. Big eliminations happening already in the beginning of Stage 5.
And you kind of look at it again from top to bottom, it does feel like it's kind of cascaded its way down. Rainplosion and Sox just getting completely pushed out of the lobby is not at all what I would have predicted from Rainplosion's start.
No. Little uncharacteristic there of Rain. Still in a good spot, even though this game didn't really shape up. But I think it just goes to the strength of the lobby as we keep, going day after day, cutting, 8 players. It's just going to be so close. Such tight windows, and these are Deja mirror matchup here, both with Radiant Archangels, actually.
And so which one is actually more powerful here? Is it the Zonias to prevent that endgame blowout, or is it going to be like this critical damage potential with that touch of healing that you're getting with the Hand of Justice and with the Jeweled Gauntlet here? So far, this Itis is towing the line right now.
The
6 Guardians is shining.
Guardians are so good, and the way the positioning happened was that the Zonia's Deja didn't really have an angle to be hitting Kyvix's, but it still does go down to the 1v1s. Ooh, wow, big damage there. Just who gets the sweep off first. Kyvix is the winner, taking out Sag in that matchup. Taking a look at Casper, leveling up to 8 now, trying to keep rolling for the Rengars. Still 3 Rengars off of Rengar 3, however, in the items, not quite there for it. This is still a Titan's resolve being spread to all of these Darkflight units. Not the best thing in the world for Casper. HP is still okay, but as we see, it's been 2 losses in a row, maybe even more.
I mean, this is the first Swain that's been found, it looks like.
And there's no items for the Swain really either. So
No items for the Rengar here either.
Where are all the items? They're on the Neela. That is 2 Neela 2s. Neela 3 consideration is real, but Casper is still far away from that.
Goodness, I mean, what happened? It felt like he was so far ahead at one point.
It's jam items, play for a top 4 hopefully, and just get out of this game, go to the next one. As might be doing that soon, as each loss is not feeling too good. 3 loss streak right now for Casper.
The Bramble Morello, is this enough to pull
That's
it
a good
through?
swing.
Wow.
It might be. Oh, that Deja cast
Woo!
not quite able to get the job done. Soju's Swain holds strong.
Solid finally takes a hit here as well. Now
Big
down to
hit.
8. It felt like they were in such a strong spot as well, but these big hits at the end of the game, it feels like some of the matchups can just be a blowout, and that can hurt so bad. I'm seeing a Dark Flight emblem on a Neela.
Mirage. Yeah, actually, if Casper can get that one going and roll
Look
a
at him
couple
just
of Neelas,
just
yeah,
sprint
there
towards
it
it.
is. Oh, Casper, that might be the bailout condition. Casper, 2 Neelas away from potentially winning the lobby off the back of that one.
It definitely can be extremely
Soraka
strong. Soraka 2 with Mirage, no less. 7 Mirages, the ideal spot.
Still, Soraka 2 is a powerful unit. Even if you do have to downgrade by taking the Bard out, it's still an upgrade at the end of the day. Bard pair, but can't really justify that. The best friends augment getting a lot of work here. Still just IDIS-1, however. The front line is not all that it needs to be, and still sure the IDIS has, or excuse me, the Deja has a little bit of defense because of the Zonias and the healing with the Gunblade, but the front line will fall very quickly, especially into Robin's composition here with a massive Xiaoyu.
Indeed. I will say the front line does feel like it's holding okay, at least in this one. Wow.
Not bad. A couple more smacks. Does go down.
The damage is just so
Yasuo
strong.
CC as well. Huge.
Robin taking a hit, but has 50 gold on 8, so you know where Robin's headed.
Oh yeah, level 9. Hopefully not the Soju special.
Seeing another Deja clip here as well. It often, you know what? It's feeling like the Radiant Archangels might be the big difference here. That just, we're seeing 2 Dejas both perform wonderfully with this item.
That's probably best in slot, especially with the Warlords. You get so much more stats with that.
An 8 Mirage is available. I don't know if you could go this way. Oh!
Rolling past it.
Mystics could be the outlook here as well. You take a look around the lobby and say, you know what, I need to prepare for the next fight, because from Saj's point of view, that's really one of the things you have to look at right now is if you can't find yourself in these top spots, the next best thing you can do is just pip yourself up by 1 finish.
Mystic's not going to be that great in this matchup, however, into the Dark Flights of Casper.
Oh my. Oh my.
The Deja.
I just don't think that it's necessarily the Zonia's being just preserved enough HP. I just don't think it's enough to finish this. Neela is just dealing so much damage, just dancing around the board. It's just acrobatics.
So close there, but Sag takes a hit in that single-digit HP. So many players right now.
Stage 6 with 6 players alive.
Oh, that's crazy. Sully single-digit as well, however, but they see Kyvix's Deja holding strong. Kyvix top of the lobby, 5-win streak. Maybe going all the way around the globe here, first into 8th, maybe into 1st again.
70 gold on Robin's spot. Down to 50, but halfway to level 9.
Robin, pair of siphons. This is a great spot. I think Robin is likely to hit. Still has a strong board, so there's not really much consideration into rolling here. The item would have been nice if it was something you could put on the siphon. Bramble is okay, however.
Not seeing a ton of critical damage across, but a defensive item nonetheless.
There's some assassins, you know? Not the worst. Robin has decided to go in right now. Yes, he does. 27 gold to roll with. Bard is a big hit as well. Gets the Mystic, gets the Guild. Gnar for the Shapeshifter for the Jace. Nearly has everything right now. Hecarim too.
Yeah, where does this go in?
Not going to go in. One more roll for the Siphon, doesn't quite hit it, but still. Robin looking very strong right now.
Interesting little last-second positions here. The Bard felt like it was such a good find for this as well.
Extremely good.
But goodness, you look
if
across
it can
the
get a
board.
cast off. Does it? Bard gets one.
It's a big deal. Xiaoyu picking up some heat, but healing back up thanks to the thrill. Wow, the Xiaoyu, it certainly feels like it needs to be collapsed on, and it might be some of the critical damage coming through.
Can Neela's get the job done? No, Xiaoyu's going to be able to stand strong. Woo! One more auto does it. These fights are so close, they're just by 1 unit each time taking the win. Sag goes down,
Sully goes down. 2 HP difference.
Oh, that's just like 1 or 2 units right in stage 2, stage 3 that makes the difference.
And now again, it's a slight cascade down. 40 for Kivix, who's still on a win streak. Robin at 30. And then Soju and Casper 29 and 20 respectively. Kivix's board is wow, this is a heater right now.
When Kivix doesn't re-roll a unit, it does a lot better in the lobbies, it seems. That's a pretty consistent theme, Kivix. Hopefully you're able to pick up on that one as well. Surely is.
Just re-roll the Deja.
True,
Seems
Deja
pretty
3?
easy.
It can't be Deja 3. People can barely Deja 2 in these lobbies, Admiral. It's just
Now,
so contested.
Against Robin here, the Mystics got added to play. We got the Shapeshifter buff in play as well, and with the Radiant Edge of Night perspective, is this enough from this spot? The Bard landing that stun in the middle, it's buffing that damage in the center of the board, and right now the Siphon is basically untouched. This thing is still at full HP. You do want items on this unit, but if it's getting consistent charges off, that's a problem.
Kivix's Deja just takes so long to cast. The Shoyu has finally made its way to the back line. Still going to be okay, though. One more cast isn't going to do it. Pantheon survives, but not for too much longer.
That's
Kivix
a
taking a
close
chunk out of
fight.
Robin.
Archangel's diff in that one.
Yeah. Archangels, again, such a good item. Kivix is going to get even stronger. Going to level 9, it feels like when people go to 9, they just like have a Bard for free in their next shop every single time. Pretty good way to start off a level 9.
It's a good marketing campaign for level 9.
That is good. Level 9, get a free Bard. Sticking your board right away. It's certainly going to help, and it's helping a lot right now, especially when it goes up against compositions like Robin's that are going to be clumping up in the front line. Bard just provides even more time alongside the Guardians.
So here we go. Kivix needed a strong performance in this one, sitting at 9 points after 2 games. And the positioning on this one, having the Guardians be able to peel the damage away because of that taunting style of effect, it feels like such a big deal in this one. Neela finds its way to Deja.
Deja might go down.
Uh-oh.
Oh, maybe the other cast off doesn't quite.
But
Itis.
You know what? The Itis is still alive.
But for how much longer? There's no damage left for Kivix. Casper is going to hold on for another round unless some overtime shenanigans happen and Itis doesn't fall. Not likely. Yeah, cannot hang on for that
long. The shields are gone for the
long.
Guardians. Kivix, big hit taking place. Casper still hanging on. Soju takes a hit. Robin taking a hit. Again, a tightly packed top 4 here, and it feels like the HP is just making that tiny bit of difference. But it doesn't matter how much you win by. It just means you have to win. Every position is going to matter in this spot.
It really does. Every positioning, nuance, everything. Items they get on this carousel as well. Soju grabbing Ionic. Kivix grabbing a Morello's.
Oh, I just noticed
Does not have any
no
anti-heal. Yeah, that's a big pickup.
Pair of Aurelian Souls as well.
Aurelian Soul 2 would surely go in. Over the Bard, over the Sejuani, just needs to hit it. Might go in regardless because you need someone to hold that Morello's.
Soraka over the
Over the
Sejuani
Sedge.
here. Guardian Soraka. Where does this Morello's go?
I was thinking about it. So that's a good pickup. No anti-heal, but yeah, not really going to be great right now. Kivix probably not going to be eliminated in this round's 21 HP to work with, and the Deja is so good at cutting down these units into Soju. The Dark Flight matchup, Swain is being frontline. Swain is so tanky, gives Swain enough time, and he'll be able to 1v5, it feels like. The Deja casts come through. It is so much damage. The Rengars are all but dealt with. It's really just Swain versus the world for Soju. Is Swain going to be enough? The Bard cast, though. Bard's still alive this whole time into the end of the fight. It's just a matter of time for Kivix as Deja cleans up the board. That's Soju going down and forth.
And that really is that whole composition packing into the corner that way. It just gives Deja a clean hit on the entire team. It's the last thing that you want to be seeing in the spot. Robin now at 6, Casper at 8, Kivix at 23. Are we going to see 3 players alive at stage 7?
Unlikely, but the potential is there. Kivix versus Robin matchup could happen. Kivix could lose. Again, there's still nowhere for this Morello's to go. It's been on the bench, chilling all the way into stage 7, it looks like.
It's just simmering on the back burner right now.
Oh,
It's a big fight here for Robin. If Robin can win this fight, that is a major deal.
It's good positioning for Kyvix to show you is on the opposite side of the Deja. Deja's going to start hitting him, proc the Edge of Night.
Now the Siphon being focused, but having that thrill of the hunt, be able to deliver that little bit of extra, but not
Goes
being
down.
able to get off the damage after charge.
Oh, the Idis goes down the front line for Kyvix being
Oh,
eliminated.
the Bard.
Bard
Stopping the
cast
shield
delay
for
a
a
little
fraction
bit.
of a second is such a big deal.
Shoyu's in the back line.
The stun comes up.
One more
Oh,
cast.
the Edge of Night!
No, Edge of Night difference.
Just refocuses that. It just eliminates all possibility for you to eliminate that now. 3 players alive going into stage 7.
Just like you called, Admirable, is it possible? The answer was yes. Kyvix gets a locket. Any fight loss in stage 7 will be lethal. The game could end in just another round. Kyvix going to econ for a little bit longer. Hopefully find an Aurelian Soul 2, something to cap this board just a little bit higher.
Oh goodness, I feel so nervous for every player right now. It
Chamber
feels like
duplicators? No.
everything is going to matter here.
The roll down. Neela 2
Not quite.
skips past it.
Casper still not on the
One
Rengar, still
Rengar.
not on the Neela.
One Neela?
It's the 8-8.
No.
Oh, the classic 8-8.
You hate to see it. Keep selling, but the Rengars keep popping up in the shop. It's the same Rengar copium, surely. Casper just needs to live another round. Have the chance. Kyvix hits the Aurelian Soul 2. That could be
Wow.
exactly what he needed to close out the lobby.
The time for the positioning, though. Okay, that's looking
yes,
so
it
scary.
replaces the Deja. This is it for Kyvix. This is the strong capped board. If you're not going full dragons, this is the next best thing.
We're going to look at the Robin fight in the bottom right as well. The Aurelian Soul feels like it is just breezing through this. This doesn't even feel like a chance from Casper Wu's spot.
No, not at all. Aurelian Soul is much too powerful. There's still one Neela left alive.
Oh no.
But it's not going to do enough. Robin won the fight, and Kyvix is winning this one. Casper is going to go down with a well-earned 3rd place in a 1v1 between Kyvix and Liquid Robin.
A big spot for Casper to potentially bring that one home, but missing both 3 stars that they were trying
So
to chase
tragic.
down.
Not much more to improve both of these boards. It just comes down to positioning, and it really comes down to Robin here. Depending on what side you put the Shioyu on, can it get backline access? Can it get through the Guardians? The answer has been yes in the previous matchups, but that was back when that Aurelian Soul was a Deja. This Aurelian Soul, however, a lot wider of damage. It's going to be scaling a lot more effectively as well. Oh, it's on the opposite side.
This is it. It all comes down to this fight. Right now, the Aurelians, this front line, I don't think is getting pushed through quite fast enough. The Siphon just barely living, gets hit by the Bard, gets a charge off, but is caught in the black hole. Not knocked down just yet, though. The Shioyu lined up. Can it get it done? The huge hits taking place.
Damage.
And that is not enough. Kyvix is going to take this one home. The holding on to the Aurelian Souls and ultimately replacing the Deja. Is this why we've been seeing the Deja perhaps not be strong enough at the end? It's because every time it's in a spot to win, it gets swapped out for the Aurelian